Hey, this is Nikki G and welcome to Better Commander. Today we're taking a walk in Eternal Night with Tovolar Savage Spectacular. Darkness falls over the land, and an insidious mist rises over tombs and shallow graves alike. Winter is coming, and as the leaves fall, an eerie silence descends. Homes are shut, windows are boarded as terror fills a night that never ends. The moon presides over it all, impossibly huge in the decaying half-light. Howls ring out in the night as the wolves gather, sniffing out the alpha, tearing huge rents in the hides of challengers. Howls of pain mix with rage as the scent of blood fills the air.
Why don't we have a good commander? What about Ulrich? Ulrich is a bit toss. We need a real commander.
Up until last year, the werewolf tribe was a bit underpowered and didn't really have a good commander. And in reality, it still is a bit underpowered, but at least you can have a good time and maybe win a mid-powered pod with Tovolar, the Brovolar, Dire Overlar. Tovolar, Dire Overlord is 1 red and a green for a legendary creature. Human werewolf, it's a 3/3. When a wolf or werewolf you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 3 or more wolves or werewolves, becomes Night. Then transform any number of human werewolves you control. That's the Daybound side. Tovolar transforms into the Midnight Scourge on the Nightbound side. Whenever a wolf or werewolf you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. X red and green. Target wolf or werewolf you control gets +X/+O and gains trample until end of turn. Wow, man, this guy does it all. He flips your human werewolves and he draws cards. He has a Kessig Wolf Run effect stapled onto the transform side. This seems like a very simple deck to build, but it's deceptively nuanced. Werewolf cards are better on their backside. That's what she said. I love werewolves, not just in MTG, but in general. Not the kind of shiny, handsome werewolves from the Twilight movies. Too handsome. Werewolves should have beards. They should be grisly. They should just radiate an aura of barely contained rage. Werewolves stalk the dark places, spreading terror. In MTG, they hang with sweet wolves as their familiars and just dope forest friends. I'll take you through my deck, the synergy pieces and the win conditions. I've played a fair amount with this deck, and I can say it's really threatening, but it's not the highest power in the universe. This is kind of a theme deck, but it's a theme deck that can pack a punch for sure. There are strong synergies within the tribe, so let's start there. Let's talk about some support and ramp creatures. We got the Kessig Naturalist, red and a green for a creature human werewolf. Whenever it attacks, add red or green. Until the end of turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. That's the Daybound side. It's a 2/2. And then you have the Lord of the Uvenwald. Other wolves and werewolves you control get +1/+1. Whenever it attacks, add red or green. Until the end of turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. It's a Nightbound side. It's a 3/3. Look at this guy. He's hanging with his little buddy howling at the moon. I'm partial to the showcase art. The backside is really evocative and a little abstract. Then we have the Uvenwald Captive, 1 and a green for a creature werewolf horror with defender. Has tap, add green. It also has 5 green, transform it. It's a 1/2, transforms into Uvenwald Abomination. Creature Eldrazi werewolf. It has tap, add colorless. It's 4/6. So it's really important to have 3 wolves and or werewolves as soon as possible, and this little guy functions as an efficient mana dork. I don't think he's ever transforming, but let's talk about the art. I have a few Eldrazi werewolves as flavor includes. I love how dark and sinister the werewolf looks. And we got Kessig Prowler. It's 1 green mana for a creature werewolf horror. Has 4 and a green to transform it. It's a 2/1. Transforms into Sinuous Predator, creature Eldrazi werewolf. Sinuous Predator can't be blocked by more than 1 creature. It's a 4/4. This is an efficient 1-drop, 2/1 for 1 green mana. Look at that art on the backside, dude. What a sweet monster. I don't think I'm ever transforming this thing, but I love the look of it for my deck. And we have Conduit of Storms, 2 and a red for a creature werewolf horror. Whenever it attacks, add red at the beginning of your next main phase this turn. It has 3 red, transform it. So on the backside, it's Conduit of Emrakul, creature Eldrazi werewolf. Whenever it attacks, add colorless at the beginning of your next main phase this turn. It's a 5/4. So nothing too special about this guy except the ability to add mana, and the art is really something special. That backside is rad, dude. Hell hath no fury like that of a woman scorned. We got the Scorned Villager, 1 and a green creature human werewolf, tap, add green. It's a 1/1. Transforms into Moonscarred werewolf. It's a 2/2 with vigilance. Tap, add green. This is more of an old school Innistrad mana dork, and the backside can attack, then add 2 green mana due to the vigilance. Love this little guy. Cemetery Prowler, 1 green for a creature wolf with vigilance. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, exile a card from a graveyard. Spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each card type they share with the cards exiled with Cemetery Prowler. It's a 3/4. If we can exile a creature when this sweet little wolf comes down, we can shave a mana off all our creatures. The vigilance is going to come in handy. The art on this thing is really evocative. The creature's carrying around some skulls, chilling in the boneyard. Then we have Hound Tamer, 2 and a green for a creature, human werewolf with trample. It's a 3/3. 3 and a green, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature as daybound. Then it transforms into Untamed Pup. Has trample. Other wolves and werewolves you control have trample, brother. Has 3 and a green, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. That's the Nightbound side, and it's a 4/4. I love the pulpy art on the showcase version. It's a real sense of motion to the art. Duskwatch Recruiter, 1 and a green for a creature, a human warrior werewolf. It's a 2/2. Has 2 and a green. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest in the bottom of your library in any order. Transforms into Crowlin Horde Howler. Creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. At the beginning of each upkeep, if a player casts 2 or more spells last turn, transform it. It's a 3/3. This is both cost reduction on the backside and card advantage on the front. Not a big fan of the artwork on the back though. He's got that 80s drip with the furry fringe hanging off of his arms. Anyways, now tell me, what other commander deck are you going to get to play a Mayor, dude? We got the Mayor of Averbrook, 1 and a green, creature, human advisor werewolf. He's a 1/1. Other human creatures you control get +1/+1. Transforms into Howlpack Alpha. Each other creature you control that's a wolf or werewolf gets +1/+1. At the beginning of your end step, create a 2/2 green wolf creature token. It's a 3/3. This is a sweet wolf anthem that makes wolves. I love the kinetic nature of the art on the backside. He's jumping out of a window. Feels like he's coming right for us. We got Breakneck Rider. I play this thing for the backside. It's the Neck Breaker. Attacking creatures you control get +1/+0 and have trample. This guy's a 4/3. Neckbreaker is another way to give our team trample and a little anthem as well. The art on the backside is kind of sad because looks like he killed his horse. What's up with that? Maybe he's French. They eat horses all the time, dude. We have Cruin Outlaw, 1 red for a creature, human rogue werewolf with first strike. It's a 2/2. Turns into Terror of Cruin Pass. It's got double strike on the backside. It's a 3/3. And werewolves you control have menace. This is a nasty combat monster. If you can pump it up a bit, it'll be hard to block, giving our werewolves menace. I really dig the art on both sides. She's like a highway robber. The big thing with this deck is you have a ton of anthems, so our creatures get bigger than you think they're going to get. We got the Nightpack Ambusher, 2 green for a creature, wolf, has flash. Other wolves and werewolves you control get +1/+1. At the beginning of your end step, if you didn't cast a spell this turn, create a 2/2 green wolf creature token. It's a 4/4. I don't think I'll be getting those wolves at the end step, but this guy's a sweet anthem. Flash can be really good in this deck, really screw up our opponent's blocks. Instigator Yang, 3 and a red. Attacking creatures you control get +1/+0. On the front side, it's a 2/3. Wildblood Pack on the backside. It's got trample. Attacking creatures you control get +3/+0. It's a 5/5. This is a huge anthem on the backside. I like how these dudes look like scruffy old school pugilists. Put them up, Shay. And then they pop into werewolves. That doesn't really seem fair. They picked a fight with some dudes and then they turn into supernatural killing machines. Village Watch comes down for 4 and a red. Creature, human werewolf. It's a 4/3 with haste. Turns into Village Reavers, 5/4. Wolves and werewolves you control have haste. Let's make our boys hasty. That's cool. Look at this sweet bunch of dudes. Oh yeah, then we got the big dog himself, Ulrich of the Crowlin Horde. 3 red and a green for a legendary creature, human werewolf. It's a 4/4. Whenever this creature enters the battlefield or transforms into Ulrich of the Crowlin Horde, target creature gets +4/+4 until the end of turn. Transforms into Ulrich Uncontested Alpha. Whenever this creature transforms into Ulrich Uncontested Alpha, you may have it fight target non-werewolf creature you don't control. This is the kind of werewolf I'm talking about. He looks like what happens if you feed a werewolf creatine all weekend, brother. Reckless Stormseeker. This is what Innistrad's all about. 2 and a red for a creature, human werewolf. It's a 2/3. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target creature you control gets +1/+0 and gains haste until the end of turn. Turns into Storm Charge Slasher. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target creature you control gets +2/+0, gains trample and haste until the end of turn. It's a 3/4. This guy really nails the Innistrad flavor. It's a weird science-powered werewolf. He's pumping up your wolves. Love this thing. Immerwolf is 1 red and a green for a creature, wolf. Has intimidated to 2/2. Each other creature you control that's a wolf or werewolf gets +1/+1. Non-human werewolves you control can't transform. This prevents our werewolves from transforming, gives us an anthem, and is a bodacious Therese Nielsen art. Just gorgeous. Speaking of gorgeous, we have the Averbrook Caretaker, 4 green for a creature, human werewolf. It's a 4/4 with hexproof. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put 2 +1/+1 counters on another target creature you control. Turns into the Hollowhenge Huntmaster. It's hexproof. Other permanents you control have hexproof, and at the beginning of combat on your turn, put 2+1/+1 counters on each creature you control. It's a 6/6. The art on this is so beautiful. It's just a pretty lady with her puppy, but then after you get married, she turns into a big snarling monster who demands that you buy her a new refrigerator. But you have the added bonus of giving all your permanents hexproof, so you have to weigh that. Alright, let's just highlight some sweet werewolves. We have the Outland Liberator. 1 and a green for a creature human werewolf. It's a 2/2. Has 1 sacrifice, destroy target artifact or enchantment. On the backside, we got Frenzied Trap Breaker. It also has the same thing. 1 sacrifice it, destroy target artifact or enchantment. But when it attacks, destroy target artifact or enchantment defending player controls. It's a 3/3. Artifact and enchantment destruction is universally useful. The showcase art on this is really pretty. She's helping her doggy out of a bear trap, and then she's smashing a cage or something on the backside. Werewolf Pack Leader. 3/3 for a creature human werewolf. It's a 3/3. Has pack tactics. Whenever Werewolf Pack Leader attacks, if you attacked with creatures with total power 6 or greater this turn, draw a card. Has 3 and a green. Until the end of turn, Werewolf Pack Leader has base power and toughness 5/3, gains trample, and isn't a human. Oh my god, dude, what is going on in this art? This is just a, really beautiful lady. She's turned into a werewolf. It's a really cool card. Card draw is fantastic. And we got the old Hermit of the Natter Knolls. 2 and a green for a creature human werewolf. It's a 2/3. Whenever an opponent casts a spell during your turn, draw a card. Turns into the Lone Wolf of the Natter Knolls. Whenever an opponent casts a spell during your turn, draw 2 cards. It's a 3/5. This really showcases how tough an old man can be. You have to factor that in. If you see an old man, just know he may have devoted some portion of his life to being a sweet gray werewolf. Ill-Tempered Loner. 2 red for a creature human werewolf. It's a 3/3. Whenever Ill-Tempered Loner is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to any target. Has 1 and a red. Ill-Tempered Loner gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Turns into Howlpack Avenger. Whenever a permanent you control is dealt damage, Howlpack Avenger deals that much damage to any target. Has the same little pump effect on the back. It's a 4/4. This guy isn't angry. He isn't burning with fury, but he is ill-tempered. The thing with this is that you can bang in with 6 big creatures, and even if they block with even bigger creatures, you can just direct all that damage to their face. This can be a mean finisher. Blasphemous Act is also in this deck, and that can be a huge blowout. We got the old Piper piping with her magic stick. It's 3 and a green for a creature human werewolf. It's a 2/2. 1 and a green and tap. You may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. If it's a wolf or werewolf, untap Howlpack Piper. Activate only as a sorcery. This spell can't be countered. Turns into Wildsong Howler. Whenever this creature enters the battlefield or transforms into Wildsong Howler, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest in the bottom of your library in a random order. It's a 4/4. This can cheat mana on some of our more expensive werewolves. She's got a sweet magic stick that the wolves seem to dig as well. Sage of Ancient Lore is 4 and a green for a creature human shaman werewolf. It's a star. Its power and toughness are each equal to the number of cards in your hand. When it enters the battlefield, you draw a card. Transforms into Werewolf of Ancient Hunger. It's got vigilance and trample, also a star. Its power and toughness are each equal to the total number of cards in all players' hands. The backside on this is a real combat monster. It's got the glowing hands, bro, and this is yet another example of why you should give an old man respect. That's ancient lore glowing in his hands. You slide in Tovolar's Huntmaster. It's 4 green for a creature human werewolf. When it enters the battlefield, create 2/2 green wolf creature tokens. It's a 6/6. Turns into Tovolar's Pack Leader. Whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, create 2/2 green wolf creature tokens. It's a 7/7. Fighting with our big werewolves is something that appears on a couple of cards in this deck, and this guy has 2 green. Another target wolf or werewolf you control fights another target creature you don't control. This guy is pretty dope. Looks like the Bounty Paper Towel mascot. And we got Huntmaster of the Fells, 2 red and a green for a creature human werewolf. It's a 2/2. Whenever it enters the battlefield or transforms into Huntmaster of the Fells, create a 2/2 green wolf creature token. You gain 2 life. Turns into Ravager of the Fells. It's a 4/4 with trample. Whenever it transforms into Ravager of the Fells, it deals 2 damage to target opponent or planeswalker and 2 damage to up to 1 target creature that player controls. At the beginning of each upkeep, if a player casts 2 or more spells last turn, transform Ravager of the Fells. This is just a sweet flippin' werewolf. I love the art. He's wearing a raccoon hat. He's chilling on a mountain somewhere. And then he transforms, dude. He transforms into Ravager of the Fells. The art's really sweet. He's diving on a little squirrel that's out of frame to make a new hat with the full moon in the background. There's also a few werewolf-specific enchantments we're packing in this deck. We got Full Moon's Rise and Howlpack Resurgence. Full Moon's Rise can save us from a board wipe if we sacrifice it. We also got the Moon Mist. This is a one-sided fog that can save our team in a pinch. So how are we going to win with this deck? Well, there's a Triumph of the Hordes in here. That's a card that wins games, alright? Look at all the sweet werewolves on the art, or whatever you need to do to justify this card thematically. Overwhelming Stampede is 3 green for a sorcery. Till the end of turn, creatures you control gain trample and get +X/+X, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. Even if this is only +4/+4, we can usually finish the fight with it. I also included Unnatural Growth, 1 green for an enchantment. At the beginning of each combat, double the power and toughness of each creature you control until end of turn. I included this as kind of a flavor piece, but there are 43 attacking creatures in this deck, and there are 6 or 7 ways to give things trample, including our commander, so we can construct a werewolf as big as a cottage, brother. Lastly, we have Rage Reflection. This is just 2 minotaurs staring at each other. They're probably in love. Anyways, dude, check out the deck list. This is just kind of a fun video for fall that I wanted to do. It's going to be Halloween soon. You need a scary deck to play with your buddies, and this thing can be had for like 125 bucks. You can build werewolves super cheap because they're all pretty super cheap. It's fun, and that's all that counts, my brother. It's going to be Nicky G from Better Commander, signing off.